39 WDKX Wicked Club. Thank you for making this a part of your day. A lot going on, and latest update on what's going on with Leticia Estacio. Who better to tell it than Leticia Estacio? What's going on?
Good morning. Again, so I had been here the other day to kind of talk to everyone, and afterwards I thought about it, and I didn't really love the way that the conversation went. Not that it went poorly, It just didn't necessarily go the way that I wanted it to, and so I wanted to come back and have another conversation that I've struggled significantly with internally addressing this issue that has come up for me because, believe it or not, I'm usually a private person. Not anymore because I don't get to be, but I used to be. And this is a legal matter. I'm an attorney. I don't normally discuss legal matters publicly. But in this particular instance, I feel as though I have an obligation to the people because I am a public person now. Much more so, actually, than I was even when I was a judge, I feel. There's a stronger connection that I feel I have now to the city and to the people in the city than I did even when I was on the bench. So as much as I may want to say that this is private, I don't feel like it gets to be. I don't feel like it's fair to say, mind your business or leave me alone. Not to the people who've supported me, not to my clients who've helped me rebuild my life, not to anyone. So this is completely different than anything I would normally do in my capacity as an attorney, but I feel like I owe everyone an explanation. So I want to start by being grateful and saying that I appreciate everybody who continues, 4 years later to ride and to defend me and to say, leave her alone. You guys are always bothering her. You're always at her. This is a witch hunt. This is what a lynching actually looks like. And they do bother me a lot, guys, but this ain't that. This ain't that. From the beginning, if you remember, I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. This all happened in 2015, and starting early on in 2016, as soon as the conviction came down, I said, I just need this to end. I need this to be over, and I need to be able to live my life, whatever that looks like now. That's all I need. And I was very vocal, as much as I could be at the time, about the fact that I had been diagnosed with situational depression. That wasn't new. That was something that had happened previously in my life. I'm a very strong person, but when I'm going through something and there is no end in sight, I cannot cope. I cannot deal. I'm a completely different person. I don't have hope. And a hopeless me is a whole different me, because I'm a pretty optimistic person who's usually pretty full of hope. I'm sorry, I have notes because there's stuff I have to say and I'm emotional and I don't want to forget. But so I said, I need this to end. And to be honest with you, I tried really hard. I got lots of substance abuse evaluations, and I tried to be an alcoholic because that's the box everybody wanted me to be in. But I couldn't fit. Nobody ever said I needed that. They said I was depressed. And I would have rather be an alcoholic than be depressed any day, because I know mad alcoholics. My grandma was an alcoholic, but if I'm depressed, I'm weak. And I can't cope, and I can't handle my life. So that was humiliating beyond measure to admit that. And I had to. And so when I acknowledged that, I came back to saying this has to end. Because if it doesn't end, I'm not going to be in a good place. And I brought documentation from a therapist. I'm not going to be okay. I need to know when this is over. And it isn't ending ever, it seems like, because it's about to be 2020. If you remember, when I was initially resentenced to probation, I said, that's not going to be an option. I'll take a year right now. And everybody said, you're so defiant. What kind of judge won't obey a judge's order? What nobody else knew, because I don't know why everyone thinks I'm stupid, but what no one else knew is that as a judge, I couldn't be a judge serving a sentence, sentencing people. So when he told me that I was getting 3 years probation, he told me that I was being removed from the bench right then. And I knew that. And you guys didn't know that, and I couldn't say anything. But I had already been removed from the bench immediately upon my arrest, which happens to no one. I had had all of my cases taken. I had no no relationship at all with the community. I had been ostracized and nobody knew me, and I didn't go out because I was embarrassed. And so no one had an opportunity to know anything about me, and everything that they said they believed. So she's defiant. No, I was trying to keep a job that I worked my whole life to defy the odds to get in the first place. That was slipping through my fingers no matter what I did. Because if you remember, when I was there initially, I was like, I don't even know how this is happening. How am I getting probation? What did I do? I'm a judge. I should know what I did. That's a whole nother story. So that's why I have notes. I knew right then that was the end of my career. And you watched me struggling to be respectful in court, to be in my place as a defendant, to not be a lawyer and advocate for myself, and to save something that I had built against the odds. So I said, I'll eat it. The worst thing that you can give me for a misdemeanor DWI is a year in jail. I'll eat that year. I want to keep my job and my position, and I want to know when this ends. That wasn't an option. So, fine, whatever. I went to jail, and then I got probation. I never said that that was appropriate. In fact, I always held it was illegal. I repeatedly attempted to challenge it. The purpose of probation is for you to obtain an education. I have a Juris Doctorate degree. I'm more educated than my probation officer. That's not me being arrogant. That's accurate. I was a judge when I got placed on probation. I'm a lawyer now. I out-earned my probation officer. That's not me being arrogant. I don't know how he's going to help me in either of those venues. Again, drug and alcohol abuse is a reason to be placed on probation, but there's not one document, literally one document from any agency that supports that I have a drug or alcohol problem, which is the first step to getting into any type of treatment. So it was never an option. From the beginning, I thought the purpose of probation was to remove me from the bench, to humiliate and to degrade me, and to put me in my place. But I went. I did it. Even though my lawyer stood up in court and said, she's never going to report. He said that. I did it. Thinking that I wasn't legally sentenced, thinking that I didn't have to appear, thinking that they had no jurisdiction over me. And on appeal, I was upheld on several cases with the scramblers, but I did it. I said I didn't have to pay for this bracelet. I did it because I'm trying to comply. And the Court of Appeals, well, I don't know which court, I don't even want to lie, but one of them agreed. Yeah, you did never have to pay for this. I did it knowing I didn't have to do it, trying not to be in this situation. But the purpose was always to degrade me and to humiliate me. Just like when I was told to use the back door to come into the courthouse when I was a judge. The purpose was to have me stand in line with defendants that I previously wasn't allowed to stand next to no matter what. The purpose was for me to get searched and to once again be put down. It served no purpose other than to break me. But I did it. Taxpayers were so concerned about their dollars, and you don't even know how much it cost for me to be on probation a year. I'm literally the only probationer my probation officer supervises. I'm his entire caseload. I wasn't working when that happened, right? I wasn't allowed to work. I was actually on medical leave. That never came out, but I had been diagnosed with depression and I wasn't allowed to go to work. My doctor had pulled me. So it wasn't so difficult to go to probation and comply with what he said when all I did was lay in the bed all day and contemplate my existence, right? I could get up. I could go there. Don't leave the county. That wasn't a problem. I didn't leave the bed. I could do that then. But remember, I told you I'm so grateful. Because thank you, Jesus, that's not where I am today, baby. I'm booked and busy. I can't breathe. I get calls all day. I'm constantly in court. I cannot believe where my life is right now. I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm thankful, because this was supposed to destroy me, but God. I cannot meet clients and do speaking engagements and all of the opportunities that I'm presented with to talk to the community, to do outreach to the community, to intercede where there's police hostility. I did a SWAT negotiation the other day, and I was thinking, I'm supposed to report this to probation because it's police contact, but I'm here confidentially on behalf of my client, and so it's really not appropriate, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do ethically because they're at me all the time, bro, and if I make a mistake, I don't know, and I cannot live like this. I can't do it. I'm super strong, guys, but I'm a human being, and I think everyone forgets that, and I can't do it. I can't be both of these things. So I did everything I know how to do, right? I went to probation. I said, guys, I've been on probation over 2 years. I've been on a 10-month conditional discharge. Like, I've served mad sentences. Can we stop now? Anybody else would be off after 1.5 years, and there's legitimately no purpose. Can you please let me off of probation? It's interfering with my ability to make a living. No, you're not getting off probation. So I didn't know what to do, right? But I got charged with a felony, erroneously, that I was acquitted of, all because of probation. When probation dismissed the violation of probation pending with the felony, no, they kept going with the felony. Cost me tens of thousands of dollars, had to go to Syracuse, got arrested the week that I went before judicial commission to testify on my own behalf. Literally, I'm negotiating with the investigator saying, can you please arrest me next week? Friday is a really important day for me. I can't be in jail. I have to go beg for my job. Can you please arrest me next week? Sorry, see, this is why I need my notes. I said, I'll wait until after the felony. After the felony, they'll do the right thing. They'll stop. Felony goes away. I go back. I say, can I please get off of probation? No, absolutely not. What are we addressing? Your alcoholism. You have absolutely no proof that I drink, and I'm 38, homie. If I'm an alcoholic and you're not, you should pick up a bottle because I'm doing better than you. Like, what? That is arrogant, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to be arrogant, but I'm angry, and I'm not even allowed to be angry.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think, like I mentioned the other day, there's been other judges that's been in the news for doing things just as bad as you, or if not worse. Why do you think that you're being treated like this versus the other judge? And
why do you think that Rochester is the second worst congressional district to live in America for black people? Why do you think that? Why do you think that the idea that I even got here in the first place is lost on them when they ignore the community that elected me and say they removed me because they lost faith in my ability to sit as a judge when they all call me judge now more than they did then? What do you mean? Because the point is to break me, and I laugh in the face of everything they do to destroy me, not because I'm not hurt, but because I refuse to be broken. And that is defiance to them. That's not strength. And so I don't know how to see. You ask me a question, and instantly my tears turn off because I was talking to you from a place of realness and emotion, and it turns into a place of anger so quickly because this is very clear what this is. It's not even just probation, right? Probation is an issue, but it's beyond probation. I can't go into the Hall of Justice where I work, where I go several times a day, without getting searched, without standing in line and going through magnometers. So I go to court one day, and I usually wear slides because my shoes make the machine beep, and it takes longer. And my client goes, isn't it kind of unprofessional to come to court in slides? And I said, it is. I come to court in slides because unlike every other attorney here, I don't get to bypass the metal detectors. I have to stand in line next to you to remind me that I'm not as good as anyone else here, that I'm not an attorney, that I'm not a judge, as a constant reminder every time I come into this building of being knocked down a peg. And then I go to court, and if you know anything about court, there's one building and then there's another building. Sometimes I have to leave one building to go to the other building, so I leave, I go stand in line again until I get in, and then I come out and I stand in line again. That can add 1.5 hours to my day. Literally. Just standing in line to get to my clients. Yeah. When I go into the back, I have a deputy escort me into the back to see judges. I can't go to the jail, again, without a deputy escorting me. I have dogs come by and sniff me. I'm on probation. They're letting a probationer, a known probationer, into the jail. The other day, a client or a wannabe client asked me for my card. I handed it to him. The deputies came over and said, you can't hand anybody anything. I can't do both. I can't leave the county without permission. I am getting contacted for speaking engagements, not outside of the county, outside of the state. I've been invited outside of the country. This is international news. We might not be able to acknowledge this in Rochester for what it is, but other people on the outside looking in are like, a judge got removed over a DWI? How did a judge get arrested for DWI? Anywhere, like, seriously, this is the real conversation everywhere else. So you know exactly what it is. And Guys, I didn't want to violate probation. I didn't want to force myself into the news. I didn't want to jeopardize everything. Be clear. I could still go to jail for this.
Hold on 2 seconds. Let me stop for a second. Stop for a second.